Okay, we're back for quiz 37. Okay, heading towards a 40. A couple of big scores from last week. The top score last week, and I haven't got Billy's one yet because he usually does it on a Sunday, but he hasn't sent me it the day. Josie and Bill was tops with 28. Stephen Rita was 27. Davy and Jean was tied with 24. Dawn and John 17. Andre 17. Must anybody? Carlin and Brian 19. Right, we're going to start off here with the bit of music round, get it out of the way. Right. Who had a hit in 1969 with Make Your Own Kind of Music? Okay, who had a hit in 1969 with Make Your Own Kind of Music? Okay, who has made the most appearances on Top of the Pops singing? It could be a group, or it could be a soloist, or it could be a duet, anybody, but who has made the most singing appearances on Top of the Pops? $160 appearances, or almost, just almost 160 appearances. Right, number 3. The Beatles only appeared on Top of the Pops once live. They only appeared live on Top of the Pops once. But the men, what song did they do? The only other time they were on Top of the Pops was 1967 with the worldwide satellite transmission of All You Need Is Love. But they only appeared once live on Top of the Pops and BBC, but they were miming. What was the song? Here's a wee tricky one. Might get a couple of these. Just a couple. I think there's a few halfies will get it. What's the biggest selling number 1 UK hit that has a colour in the title? Okay. Now it could be an American song, but it's we're talking about UK sales here. But it could be an American song, but it's UK sales. So what's the biggest selling number 1 hit in the UK that has a colour in the title? Now when I'm saying colours, it could be black and it can be white as well as all the other colours you can see or hear about. Okay, so what's the biggest selling number 1 in the UK charts? Could be American, could be British, could be Welsh or anything, but it's UK sales that has a colour in the title. Okay, number 5. Nazareth had a hit with Love Hurts. But who first had a hit with that song, Love Hurts? Oh, where's my pirate? Let me hurry up. A wee tricky one for some of you here. Who had a hit in 1983 with I Eat Cannibals? Who had a hit in 1983 with I Eat Cannibals? I'm going to turn this off and off. Right, next one. Number 7. Which Bond's first top 10 hit in 1973 ended with the words, "Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside." Oh, I do like to be beside the sea. So which group's first top 10 hit ended with them words? Here's a tricky one. I don't think anybody will get this. I had the album, or did I have the album? I did have the album. Shakin' Stevens. Early Shakin' Stevens. When Shakin' Stevens first arrived on the scene, what was the name of his backing group? What was the name of Shakin' Stevens' backing group? Not too many will get that one. Right. I'm going to go over some of them, rewind that, and I'm going to give the answers, and we're going to move on to round 2. Who had a hit in 1969 with Make Your Own Kind of Music? Cass Elliot, Mama Cass from the Mamas and the Papas, Cass Elliot. Who has made the most singing appearances on Top of the Pops? Well, Status Quo appearing as a group with 106. They were second with 106, but Cliff Richard with almost 160. It's Cliff Richard The Beatles only appeared live once on Top of the Pops. They were singing Paperback Writer. They also sung the B-side, which was called Rain. So they sung 2 songs, but the A-side was Paperback Writer. And what's the biggest selling #1 hit? It has a colour in the title. With over 2 million sales, it was Brown Girl in the Ring by Boney M. It was a double A-side with Rivers of Babylon, but it was Brown Girl in the Ring. And the White Christmas only sales of 1.05 million. And that was I've got the number 5 on the list. Nazareth had a hit with Love Hurts, but who first had a hit with it? Jim Capaldi. And who had a hit in 1983 with I Eat Cannibals? It was Toto Coelho. And which Bond's first top 10 hit in 73 ended with the words, "Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside, oh, I do like to be beside the sea." It was Queen with 7 Seas of Rye. And Shakin' Stevens' first arrival on the scene, what was the name of his backing group? It was Shakin' Stevens and the Sunsets. Right, all them scores up. We're going to go to round 2. What's the smallest state in Australia? What's the smallest state in Australia? And number 2. Australia's Barossa Valley is noted for which industry? Australia's Barossa Valley is noted for which industry? Okay, which country's capital city is last alphabetically? Which country's last capital alphabetically? Okay, I think if it begins with X, you write down the capital. So, which country has the capital city is last alphabetically? I think Andre will do well in this wee geography round. Number 4, what was the capital of Russia before Moscow? What was the capital of Russia before Moscow? And number 5, what is the capital of Hong Kong? The capital of Hong Kong. And number 6, which capital's former name was Christiana? Which capital's former name was Christiana? And which capital city is the largest city in Africa? Which capital city is the largest city in Africa? And the last one in this round, which capital is known as the Eternal City? Which capital is known as the Eternal City? Right, get your answers down. If you want to go back on some of them, we're going to give you the answers to round 2. Then we'll move on to round 3. What's the smallest state in Australia? Tasmania. Australia's Barossa Valley is noted for which industry? Wine production. And which country has the last capital alphabetically? It's Croatia. Its capital is Zagreb. And what was the capital of Russia before Moscow? St. Petersburg. And what's the capital of Hong Kong? Victoria. And whose capital's former name was Christiana? Oslo. And which capital is the largest city in Africa? Cairo. And which capital is known as the Eternal City? Rome. I'm hoping that Tasmania is right. Hope it is a state. I can check that one. Is this a connection round? No. Number 3, round 3. Who were the 3 Axis powers in World War II? Who were the 3 Axis powers in World War II? Just get a point if you get the 3 of them. And number 2. What's the term used to start an ice hockey match? What's the term used to start an ice hockey match? Okay, number 3. In the film Halloween, Michael Myers' mask was taken from a mould of which actor's face? In the film Halloween, Michael Myers' mask was taken from a mould of which actor's face? And number 4. What is the meaning of the word burrito as in the Mexican dish of a filled tortilla wrap? Tortilla, I've got Taruto. What's the meaning of the word burrito in the name of the Mexican dish of a filled tortilla wrap? And number 5, which country does Blue Mountain coffee come from? And which country does Blue Mountain coffee originate? Number 6. In which decade was Lego founded? In which decade was Lego founded? And number 7. Which city in Pennsylvania is considered the chocolate capital of the USA? Which city in Pennsylvania is considered the chocolate capital of the USA? Okay, which line became the northern and southern states' unofficial border in the US Civil War? Okay, which line became the northern and southern states' unofficial border in the US Civil War? Okay, I'm going to go over them again and I'll rewind it back because I'm going to give you the answers to round 3. Who were the 3 Axis powers in World War II? Germany, Italy, Japan. And what's the term used to start an ice hockey match? A face-off. In the film Halloween, Michael Myers' mask was taken from a mould of which actor's face? It was William Shatner. When they were doing Star Trek, they took a mould of his face because they were going to use it for to change it a bit of like alien type of in case he was infected by some aliens or something. They're going to sort of change it into an alien looking face. But somebody took it and used it as that. Turned it inside out or something, made it into a mould for Michael Myers in Halloween. What's the meaning of the word burrito as in the Mexican dish? Little donkey. It means little donkey. And which country does Blue Mountain coffee? Jamaica. And which decade was Lego founded? It was in the 30s, 1932. And which city in Pennsylvania is considered the chocolate capital of the USA? Hershey. And which line became the northern and southern states' unofficial border in the US Civil War? It was the Mason-Dixon line. Right, move on to this one. Right. Number 1. What phrase was used to describe a breakaway group of Labour politicians who were Shirley Williams, Roy Jenkins, David Owen and Bill Rogers? Okay, so what phrase was used to describe a breakaway group of Labour politicians who were Shirley Williams, Roy Jenkins, David Owen and Bill Rogers? Number 2. Which 1998 film starring Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks? It was about a bookstore owner who meets another larger bookstore owner and go out with each other unaware they are business rivals. Okay, so which 1988 film starring Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks was about a bookstore owner who meets another larger bookstore owner and go out with each other unaware they are business rivals? Okay, who wrote, it was wrote in 1850. What is Nathaniel Hawthorne's most famous book called? Wrote in 1850. What is Nathaniel Hawthorne's most famous book called? Number 4. Which movie features a character called Jigsaw who plays evil tricks on people? Okay, so which movie features a character called Jigsaw who plays evil tricks on people? Okay, number 5. She presented Points of View for 10 years, 87 to 97, and she presented Watchdog from 93 to 2001 and 2009 to 2015. But which programme is she mostly remembered for? Okay, she presented Points of View for 10 years, 87 to 97, and she presented Watchdog 93 to 2001 and from 2009 to 2015. But which programme is she mostly remembered for? Number 6. Who in the Bible was cleansed of 7 demons and was the first person to see Jesus after the resurrection? Who in the Bible was cleansed of 7 demons and was the first person to see Jesus after the resurrection? Right, and number 7. What can have parts called a cowter, C-O-W-T-E-R, a vambrace, a quiz, a comb, and a gauntlet? What can have parts called a cowter, a vambrace, a quiz, K-W-I-S, a comb, K-O-M-B, and a gauntlet? And number 8, what connects them all? That's a connection round. What connects them all? Okay, so if you want to rewind that, go over some of them again. I'm going to give you the answers to round 4. What phrase was used to describe a breakaway group of Labour politicians who were Shirley Williams, Roy Jenkins, David Owen and Bill Rogers? The Gang of Four. The Gang of Four. Which 1998 film starred Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks? It was You've Got Mail. You've Got Mail. And who wrote in 1850 this Nathaniel Hawthorne's most famous book? It was wrote. It's The Scarlet Letter. And which movie features a character called Jigsaw playing evil tricks on people? Saw. And she presented Points of View and Watchdog, and again, she was mostly remembered for The Weakest Link. It was on Robinson, The Weakest Link. And who in the Bible was cleansed of 7 demons and was the first person to see Jesus after the resurrection? Mary Magdalene. And what can have parts called a cowter, a vambrace, a quiz, a comb and a gauntlet? Armour, suit of armour. So what have I got for the connection? We've got gang of 4. We've got mail. We've got letter, that's in Scarlet Letter. We've got saw. We've got link, the weakest link. We've got Mary and Jesus and Mary. And we've got armour. So the link is mail. No, chain. The link's chain. Gang of 4, chain gang. You've got mail, chain mail. You've got letter, chain letter. You've got chainsaw. You've got a link out of a chain, a link. And you've got the group, the Jesus and Mary, chain. And you've got the armour, which can have chain mail as well. So we've got chain mail twice. So we're looking for chain. We just got that. I think it's all got that. Right, on the last round. Okay, 19 minutes, we're doing well. I don't know, we're getting cold. Number 1, what can be a city in Scotland and a city in Australia? Okay, what can be a city in Scotland and a city in Australia? And number 2, which film had a number removed from the title in case Americans thought it was a sequel? Okay, so which film had a number removed from the title in case Americans thought it was a sequel? And staying with Americans. Americans call it an eggplant, but what do we call it? Americans call it an eggplant, but what do we call it? Number 4. In which decade did Bette Davis die? Which decade did Bette Davis die? Number 5. Who was known as the Butcher of Leon? Who was known as the Butcher of Leon? And number 6. Who lived in the house used for the Nelson Mandela National Museum? Who lived in the house that was used for the Nelson Mandela National Museum? And number 7. On the London Underground line, the Bakerloo line is named after which two stations it originally linked? On the London Underground line, the Bakerloo line is named after which two stations that it originally linked? And the last one, before I give you the answers, in the 1970s children's animated series, what was the name of Crystal Tip's dog? In the 1970s children's animated series, what was the name of Crystal Tip's dog? Here, so I forgot to tell you there, Jean and Davy. I met Jean about a month or two ago, and I seen Davy. I met Davy there on Friday in the work. So I've met all the big hitters. I know Josie and Bill, Billy and Margaret, Stevie and Rita, Andre, Carlin and Brian. The only two big hitters that I don't know now is Don and John. That's the only two of the big hitters in the team here that I haven't seen yet. Don and John. Right, answers. Rewind that. I'm going to give you the answers and write your score down and let me know what you've got so I can read it out next week. What can be a city in Scotland and a city in Australia? Perth. Which film had a number removed from the title in case Americans thought it was a sequel? The Madness of King George III. So it's one Madness of King George, bump, bump, bump. So they took a number away in case they thought it was a sequel. They missed a couple of parts and wouldn't go and see it. Americans call it an eggplant. What do we call it? An aubergine. And which decade did Bette Davis die? It was the 80s, 1989. And who was known as the Butcher of Leon? Wasn't a football team now. It was Klaus Barbie. Klaus Barbie, the Nazi. And who lived in the house used for the Nelson Mandela National Museum? Willie Nelson. No, it wasn't. Wasn't Winnie Mandela? Nope, it was Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela's house it was. On the London Underground line, the Bakerloo line is named after which two stations that originally linked? Baker Street and Waterloo. You have to get the two of them for a point. And the 1970s children's animated series, what was the name of Crystal Tip's dog? Alistair. Crystal Tips and Alistair. Right, I'm expecting a score in the high 20s today, this week, so let me know what you've got. And mightn't be one next week because I'm going to be busy from this Friday for a few days, so I'll play it by ear and see, but keep you posted anyway. Okay, have a good weekend. See you soon.